Quick editor's note before we start the video. My audio did not get recorded along with everyone else, so I had to add myself back in for this top 5 Val Kilmer movie and for Wind River. So if you see that audio seems off and the video seems a bit off from it, that is why. Now we will start our video.
I know you haven't heard our voices in a while. Well, you actually heard it a few weeks ago, and now then a little bit of a break, but not since October. But we're back. We will be back consistently again. Sorry for the small few week break. Life happens. But speaking of life, in that small break, we did lose a very good actor. An actor that here we all love because we watched a number of his movies on this podcast. That actor's name is Val Kilmer. And speaking of, or actually, I'm going to start this off with this as I go into having Seth speak. I actually went to an art show on Sunday. It was a few Sundays ago, and I actually took a picture of a guy painting of Val Kilmer that this guy did at the art show as Doc Holliday. I took a picture and sent it to Seth, and I was like, "Hey, my buddy will love this." I don't, because when you go to art shows, not really sure if you should take pictures of people's work unless they consent to it. And so he was like, "Oh hell yeah, I painted it because he's one of my favorites." And I was like, "Oh yeah, it's my buddy, one of my buddy's favorites too." So I sent it to Seth, and Seth was like, "Hell yeah." Yeah, no. So it was funny. We were thinking about him even before he passed, like the week of. So Seth, tell me about Val Kilmer.
Yeah, no, I mean Val Kilmer, he's one of those guys that I feel like in the 90s was on like path and trajectory to match up with Pitt, Clooney, and like even DiCaprio kind of deal. And like we would have seen him had he had maybe a couple different choices or some different changes go, but he had like a strong start. Like if you look at his filmography, from like the 90s, from the late 80s to like through the 90s, I mean, it's strong. I mean, it is really good. And so I mean, he had to fall off towards the end of his career, unfortunately. And I'm speaking before his illness, that led to his very awkward appearance in the Snowman movie. But like, man, what a heck of a run in the '90s and like those late '80s. And I grew up on these movies. My mom loved Val Kilmer movies, so I watched a bunch of them repeatedly on VHS. The top one, obviously, everyone knows. I don't even need to go into that one, but yet, anyways. And it's like, I don't know, it's just he's such a quotable, like he was easy to quote. He did such a good job of playing different type of roles and characters from like, super genius stoner type characters to deadly gunslingers to sociopathic bank robber. I mean, like he just has all these roles and he plays them very, very well. And he just, I don't know, he seemed like a nice guy too. Like, you read stories now that since his passing about, how he spent his time in Santa Fe on like that ranch and really, embrace that community and the art community and stuff like that. He helped like kind of patronage some of them and things like that. She's like a great dude. And it kind of sucks because he had such a strong trajectory and start to his career that it ended the way it kind of did with this last 10 years or so. But I mean, he was always fun. Even in his straight to DVD movies, he was fine, even if the movie sucked. And I've watched a couple of them, but shout out to his role in Psych, hands down, absolutely great moment in Psych.
Erica, since you live with a fan, what are your thoughts?
Well, when we were sitting down to talk about this, he's like, "Yeah, you've seen how many of his movies have you seen? You've seen a lot, right?" And I'm like, "No." But the movies I've seen, I feel like I've seen his greatest. So it was really sad. I do remember watching The Snowman and being like, "Ooh," you felt bad for him and where he was. So I'm glad he's not in pain, but like we did lose a great actor, and like Seth said, I think we could have had I don't know, he could have had a different type of career with maybe different choices. So, but still incredible.
Yorton?
So for me, Val Kilmer is one of those actors who Comes in, he's the constant professional. He gets his work done, studies the role, and you can always count on quality. He can do character acting, he can just be himself, but he's always in working hard. That's Val Kilmer for me.
So yeah, he did a lot of good work, and so I think we've talked about, like, again, a lot of his movies before. Uh, I think we did a Mount Rushmore at one point, but obviously this was before Erica. If we did, so in respect, we're gonna pay our respects. We're gonna give out like a top five favorite movies of him. So I know for me specifically, I gotta go at number 5. I gotta go The Saint. Very good movie. I remember watching it. I watched it on TNT as my first time as a kid. I was like, this is actually pretty good. And then I rewatched it as an adult. I'm like, hell yeah, this is really good. Um, then at number 4, this was a tough one because The Doors was a really good movie. Really like The Doors, but dang, I'm trying to, because I misplaced my list. I gotta go with Top Gun, Maverick. No, Top Gun. Number 3, yeah, Top Gun, Maverick. Number 3, I gotta go Heat. Fucking classic movie. Heat is just banger. Uh, Number 2, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, and number 1, Tombstone. But yeah, shout out Heat. That we actually need to do that movie soon. We haven't. Yeah,
It's
no,
good.
sorry.
A
Go
lot
ahead.
to unpack.
Yeah, Jordan, go ahead. What are your thoughts?
So the first Val Kilmer movie I have to bring up is, of course, Top Gun. It was on my list of top 5 movies of all time. Granted, Maverick was up there, but Top Gun, the original, it's very close to being the top 5 of all time. One of the things I like to say with the original Top Gun, Val Kilmer's character is actually the hero, and it's Maverick who's developing to become the person to be the hero. Maverick is the protagonist, but Val Kilmer is the real hero of that movie, trying to make Maverick into a team player. The other movie that I wanted to talk about, just real quickly, was Batman Forever, and that's just a simple, fun movie to watch with the boys, having some popcorn and pizza. The third Val Kilmer movie I want to talk about is Ghost in the Darkness. It's a
Another
historical
good
film
one.
about Val Kilmer going around trying to hunt down lions that are killing the crew on the rail line that they're working on. It is a surprisingly historically accurate movie. For example, the scene where they're locked up where they set up a trap inside of a train cart and they lock the lions in and they try to shoot them and all the shooters were missing and then accidentally unlocked the train cart and the lions escaped. That was really in his logs on of the event. If you want to get a really good sense of the movie, historically accurate, watch the History Buff on YouTube. The other 2 movies are going to be Heat, which everyone has this on the list, so I'm not going to say anything else about it, and Tombstone, which we have already recorded a podcast before on this one. If you go back and look on our old podcast, you can see our reviews on that.
Okay. No argument. Surprise, no argument. Erica.
I think Jordan and I have literally the same list because all of those movies that you mentioned are all 5 of the Val Kilmer movies I've seen. So I've got homework to do. But I like I said earlier, I loved him in Psych. It was hilarious. I know it's not a movie, but it was a good bit. I did like Heat a lot. We really should do that movie. I feel
Yeah, that's what
like
I'm
that would be
saying.
a good episode. And I do like his Batman movie. I was telling Seth I haven't watched it in God knows how long, but it was fun to your point. So
Seth.
All right, so I did mine in a little bit different than Jared. So, for example, my top 5, I'm gonna go with Val Kilmer movies, so I'm focused on his role in the movie. So it's not necessarily that really I would rank these movies as in my favorites. outside of that context. So number 5 is Top Gun. Love Top Gun. Top Gun's great. We covered it. We all know that. I agree with Jordan, by the way, 100%. He was the guy who was the good guy in that movie. After Top Gun, I have, uh, The Saint, which I was actually shocked Erica hadn't watched. That movie's amazing.
It
That's one of
is.
the my mom would. That's one of the ones VHS she had that she'd always play because I'm not sure if she played it because of Val Kilmer or because of the movie, but I love the movie. I think it's great.
Not
Uh,
complaining either way.
yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a win-win for us. And then number 3, I have Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Naturally, y'all remember I picked that for my Christmas movie one year, and I absolutely love that movie and quote it all the time. Number 2 is Heat because Heat is, I mean, it's great,
It's hot. No, it's
especially with the glass. Oh wow, please, see yourself out. But watching Heat with a glass of whiskey, like Glenlivet, it's great. It's a good time. And then number 1, of course, is going to be an all-time great of the '80s, Real Genius. It's a fantastic comedy. He does a great job in it, playing the genius stoner guy. That rounds out my top 5.
No Tombstone.
I just want to see. I just want to see if Jared was gonna react. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, like, the only reason I didn't put on Tombstone is because it was too on the nose, and I was like, "Is that the way you're going with the actual movie being in your top?"
I'm just kidding. Tombstone is actually my number 1. It's not Real Genius. Real
Okay.
Genius and Ghost in the Darkness and like 3 other movies are all in my honorable mentions because I had
Yeah.
to call them. But Ghost in the Darkness is fantastic.
Okay. I was gonna say, I was like, "Hey, wait a minute."
Nah, there's
Like,
no that dude
I
deserved an
just
Oscar.
did because again, it's like I treated it as S tier, so it's like no reason ranking it.
Yeah.
It's just OP. But I was
Yeah.
like, you didn't do it that way.
No, it's not only the best movie of that he's in. I'll put it over Heat, even though Heat's amazing.
Yeah.
But he just deserved an Oscar for that. I mean, that's Val Kilmer's best role. That is his role.
Yeah, you're right. So shout out to Val Kilmer. May he rest in peace. He entertained all of us for decades past and decades in the future. He will still do the same with all of his movies. May even entertain us this weekend if we watch Heat. But Seth's number 1 movie for Val Kilmer is Tombstone. So the movie we watched, is a Western. You're on mute.
So, listeners of the podcast, we now have
Oh.
a YouTube channel. You can already see our first video up there on Blockbuster Hall of Fame YouTube channel. And you get to see our lovely facial reactions as we talk about these movies. We always make comments before about us reacting. Now you get to see our reactions. And so if you're watching this now on YouTube, please leave a like, a comment, and subscribe.